Yeah, we were looking at this particular problem wherein we were asked to find out the voltage by Thevenin's theorem. Okay. Now, since they have asked us to find out the voltage across 2 kilo ohms, what we did is we separated this 2 kilo ohms. See here, we have removed that 2 kilo ohms from the circuit because this is where I have to be finding out V naught. So after separating, I find this AB as open circuit terminals. So since we are asked to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network, we mark the voltage VOC across the terminals AB. Then we have to find out the voltage VOC, which happened to be 28 volts. We have seen that in detail. Then we had to find out RT also. Okay, because very first thing is after removal of 2K for the remaining circuit across AB, we have to find out the Thevenin's network. Okay, so VOC is something that we have found out, and we also found out RT. Understand that? So how did we find out RT? Since no dependent sources are involved, what we can do, we have to open circuit 4 milliamps and short circuit 12 volts. See, this is open circuiting the current source. This is open circuiting the current source. Okay, here it is short circuiting the voltage source. Everybody understand that point? Okay. See here, there are terminals here. These terminals can be neglected because it has got no significance in what we are doing. Okay. So after that, you have to just find out the equivalent resistance after it across terminals AB. So these are terminals AB that we have. Fine. So across terminals AB, we have to find out RT, which is this. What is RTC? 6K and 3K are in parallel. Okay, and that parallel combination is in series with 4K. That is what is written here. 6K and 3K are in parallel, and that is in series with 4K. Okay, and this parallel combination is this particular combination. The parallel combination is 2 kilo ohms. Okay, so this 2 kilo ohms plus 4 kilo ohms would give you 6 kilo ohms. In the last class when I was ending, I wrote this as 2 kilo ohms. It's 6 kilo ohms. If you have written it as 2 kilo ohms, change it. So what did we do now? What did we do now? We have found out what we have found out. We have found out the Thevenin's equivalent network. Okay, so what we can say is, therefore, Thevenin's network is, here we have found out the Thevenin's voltage, and we have found out the Thevenin's resistance, which is 6 kilo ohm. Fine. Plus minus, this is 28 volts. Okay, across terminals EB. So we have found out the Thevenin's equivalent network, but what is asked in the problem? In the problem, they have asked us to find out the voltage V naught across 2 kilo ohms. Very first step is removing 2 kilo ohms. Second step is finding out the Thevenin's network, which we have done here. What is the third step? Everybody understand? Third step is this. Step 3. Yeah. Step 3 is this. Connect 2 kilo ohms back across terminals AB. So this is what we had done, right? We had removed 2 kilo ohms from across which was there across terminals AB. Here we had removed that. We had removed that, right? So after finding out the Thevenin's equivalent network, okay, we have to reconnect it back. Everybody understand that point? Okay, so let's reconnect that. Yeah. So how is it going to look like after I reconnect? This is something that we have just found out. The Thevenin's equivalent network. 6 kilo ohm is RT, 28 volts is VOC. Okay, across this was your 2 kilo ohms which we had removed. Okay, so bring that 2 kilo ohms, and what they've asked us to find out across 2 kilo ohms. See there, what they've asked us to find out the voltage V naught. Okay, so that voltage V naught needs to be found out. Right, this is A, this is B, so V naught is here. You can say this. Yeah, here is our V naught which needs to be found out. How would you find out V naught? Just mark an I there. Okay, let's mark I. Everybody do that. Let's mark I. How to do that? Yeah, everybody, this is your I. KVL implies what? KVL tells us this: minus 28 plus 6K into I plus 2K. So what we can do is we can directly write V naught here. Since V naught is there and we have to find out V naught, so let's write V naught directly. Okay, so that will give us V naught directly. Fine. So let's do that. Let's take V naught directly because V naught is something that is asked to be found out. So this is V naught plus V naught equal to 0. Therefore, our V naught would be what? It is 28 minus 6K into I. To find out I, we need to do this. Very sorry, everybody. We don't know I, right? So to find out I cannot write V naught there. Very sorry. Yeah? We have to write it as 22K into I1 only because in this equation there will be two unknowns otherwise. Fine. So to reduce the number of unknowns, we have to make it one unknown equation first, find out that unknown, then go for finding out V naught. Okay. So 6K I1 plus 2K I. It's not I1, sorry. Yeah, equal to 0. So this implies that our I is 28 divided by 8K. Okay, so it's 28 divided by 8K. So therefore, our where is it? Yeah, what would be our V naught? So therefore, we can say therefore our V naught is what? See here, V naught is here. I is approaching the positive sign, right? So V naught is 2K into I. What would that be? It's 2K into 28 by 8K. So it is therefore V naught is this KK goes off. So 2 4s are 8. So 4 7s are 28. So it is this. V naught is 7 volts. Everybody understand this problem? So this is how the things go. Okay. So we have seen three types of problems now. We have seen three types of problems. Which are those? See here, in the first problem, we were asked to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network across AB. No dependent source is there. First case, no dependent source. We are asked to find out the Thevenin's equivalent circuit across AB. So we find out VOC. Then how do we find out RT? We find out RT by deactivating the independent source. What is the second case? Second case is we have to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network, but there is a dependent source. If there is a dependent source, how do you find out RT? RT has to be found out as VOC by ISC. Okay. Then what is the third case? Third case is finding out voltage or current by Thevenin's equivalent network. Understand that? Okay. So these are three types of problems we have seen. Fine. Now let's go with some more problems. Okay, which I already have PPT prepared. Okay, let me give you that. Now let me do this. Stop share. Yeah. Let's take this problem now. Fine. Now everybody just observe what we are doing. See, different cases that we've I just told you, right? The first case is circuit with no dependent sources. RT is found out by deactivating the sources. Second case is circuits with dependent sources wherein RT is found out as VOC by ISC. What is the third? Finding out V or I by Thevenin's theorem. So these are the three different cases we have seen, okay, in Thevenin's theorem. Now what we need to do is what we need to think. Okay, so let's see that now. Let's see that. Yeah. Let's take this problem really. Okay, this is problem number 4 to you. Fine. This is problem number 4. Three problems you have solved of three different cases. This is problem number 4 to you. Fine. So what is it telling? See, it is asking us to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network across terminals AB. Find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit across terminals AB. Terminals AB are here. Okay. So which case is this? Second case. We are finding out the Thevenin's equivalent network, but this particular circuit has got the dependent sources. Since dependent sources are there, RT has to be found out as VOC by ISC. So that is something that we need to remember. Get that point? There are two dependent sources. Whether there are two dependent sources or one dependent source, what we should understand is we have to find out RT by finding out VOC and ISC, and RT is found out as VOC by ISC. Everybody understand that point? Now, here we will not be removing anything. If you were asked to find out VAB, what we would have done? Suppose you are asked to find out VAB by Thevenin's theorem, the third case. Finding out V or I by Thevenin's theorem. What we would do? If you are asked to find out VAB, you would remove this 25 ohms. Fine. For the remaining circuit, you will find the Thevenin's equivalent network. Then bring this 25 ohms back. Then find out VAB. But they have not asked us to find out VAB, but they have asked us to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network across VAB. So we're not removing anything. Everybody understand that point? Yeah. Let's not get confused. We have to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network, mind you. So what we do? Since the dependent sources are involved, RT has to be found out as VOC by ISC. Everybody understand that point? Okay. Second case where the dependent sources are involved. Okay, we have to find out VOC by ISC to find out RT. Next. To find out VOC, we have to mark VOC. Where we have to mark VOC? See, here is your VOC. They have marked VAB, right? Across the terminals AB. Why they had to mark VAB? Because see, there is a voltage source, voltage dependent voltage source here. So VAB is, it is dependent on voltage VAB, right? So that voltage VAB needs to be marked somewhere. Okay, and that voltage VAB itself is your VOC, the open circuit voltage, because VAB is the voltage that is dropping across these open circuit terminals, right? So VOC itself is that VAB. Understand? Fine. There is another current source which depends on current I, so that current I is marked here. So whichever the parameter that these sources depend on, those parameters are supposed to be seen in the circuit. Otherwise, the circuit is incomplete. I have talked about that before. So let's find out VOC now. Let's find out VOC. Again, when we are asked to find out VOC, mesh analysis or node analysis would again be the question that we need to answer. Okay. So there is LHS part, which is easier to deal with this by KVL. There is RHS part, which is easier to deal with using KCL. Okay, so this is one type of circuit wherein one part is easier to be dealt with using KVL. The second part is easier to be dealt with using KCL. Understand that point? So let's catch hold of this part, LHS part, I'm calling it as left hand side part. Fine, and apply KVL. Apply KVL, everybody. Let's see. Go on. How does the KVL look like? See, we are moving in this direction. Again, you need not have to mark any current because this I itself is the mesh current. Okay, we could mark another mesh current here, but there is no necessity because there is just one mesh here. So let's go on. So this is -5 since we are approaching -5. Then 500 I, okay, plus VAB. So that is this. -5 plus 500 I plus VAB. But what is not good in this particular equation? Tell me, what is not good in this particular equation? We are applying what? We are applying KVL. And when we are applying KVL, what is the rule that we are following? Let all R, okay, let all R unknowns, let all our KVL equations be in terms of I. So that is one thing. But let's see how the things go here, because we can deal with this part also and obtain an equation in terms of VAB and I. We already have obtained the equation in terms of VAB and I. See, yeah, this is good. So this is one equation. Keep this as one equation. So take this 5 onto the right hand side and keep this as one equation. Okay. So let's deal with another part, applying KCL to RHS now. So we have applied KVL because this is a mesh. We can apply KCL here. How? There is one node. One node. What is the KCL? How many branches are there? There is one branch, two branch. There are two branches, two currents. How many currents are leaving? How many currents are entering? So this is a current leaving. Anyways, it's shown as current leaving. So if there is no currents also showing the current entering, we consider that also as leaving it. So there are two currents leaving node A. Okay, so KCL, what does it say? 10I is the current leaving, VAB by 25 is another current leaving, and those two currents, the sum of those two currents would be 0 because there is no entering current. So what is the advantage now? This is equation number 2. What is the advantage with these two equations? So you have two equations, two unknowns, I and VAB. Use your calculators and get me I and VAB. Simple. Your approach can be anything provided you know your basics. Understand? Okay, so otherwise you should have gone for finding out VAB in terms of I, then have a equation only in terms of I, find out I, and go to the second part to find out VAB. That also could have done, we could have done, but we have retained both the unknowns as it is because we know in the second part we'll have another equation with the same unknowns. So you have two equations, two same unknowns. Okay, find I and VAB, which happens to be this. After solving for I and VAB, we have got this. Okay, so this VAB, what is VAB? We have shown VABs are VOC. So VOC is -5 volts. Everybody's okay with this? Fine. Now I'm going little fast. You can just listen to this very carefully. If possible, you can just make a note of few things when I'm explaining. Okay. Otherwise, listen to this very carefully. Soon after the class, I'll be uploading the videos. You can just refer to them. Okay. But it's very important to listen to all this because I'll be rushing through in this class. Okay. Because from next class, I'll be taking Norton's theorem. So today I'll finish off another problem after this. Okay. So I'm rushing through, but I'll take care that I'm not leaving any of the explanations. I'll give you all the explanations possible to make things easier. So let's not bother about this. Now, for the first time, our VOC is happening to be a negative entity. So we need to be a little careful regarding this. VOC is something that we've got negative. Now everybody just observe how to find out RT. RT is VOC by ISC. We have found out VOC and VOC is happening to be a negative entity. But the resistances that we find has to be a positive entity. Resistance that we find has to be positive. VOC we already have got to be negative. That means ISC that we find out also has to be negative now. So that is one indication. We have to be getting ISC as negative entity. If you get positive, RT would be negative, which is wrong. So where RT would never go negative here. So if VOC is negative, which we have just found out, ISC also has to be negative. Okay. So that is one indication that we have got by getting VOC equal to a negative voltage, that is minus 5 volts. So we have found out VOC. To find out RT, VOC by ISC is required. So let's find out ISC. What is ISC? Yeah, this is ISC. What did we do to find ISC? We have short circuited terminals AB. Everybody understand that we have short circuited terminals AB. After short circuiting, the current that flows from A to B itself is our short circuit current. Is this okay with you, everybody? So we have marked ISC, short terminals AV, and mark ISC as shown. Why we are doing this? We are doing this to find out ISC. Why we had to find out ISC? We have found out VOC already. We have to find out ISC because RT has to be given by VOC by ISC. Why RT is found out by finding out both VOC and ISC? Because dependent sources are there. What is the problem if we have dependent source? We cannot deactivate. See, we cannot deactivate these sources. That's why RT is being found out by VOC by ISC. That's why we are finding out the ISC. Since VAB is connected to the ground. See, this is very important. See, this A is connected to B. This A is connected to B. What is B? B is ground. What is the voltage at B? 0. So that means if B is at 0 volts, if B is at 0 volts, A is also at 0 volt. Everybody understand that point? If B is at 0 volt, A is also at 0 volt. What is the voltage at node A? Voltage at node A is VAB. So VAB is also 0. Is that understood, everybody? VAB is 0 when you short A and B because you are shorting A to ground. So voltage at A has to be 0. So VAB is 0. Fine. Now again, let's deal with this left hand side part and right hand side part. Okay, since 25 ohms is in parallel with the short, so see here, before approaching the circuit, if there is possibility of reducing the size of the network, we can do that. What way? Everybody understand this is the first time we are finding this particular case wherein a resistor is in parallel with the short circuit. What is the resistance here? What is the resistance here? It is zero resistance. What is the resistance here? It is 25 ohms. So 25 ohms is in parallel with zero resistance. The 25 ohms is in parallel with zero resistance. So what would be the equivalent resistance of this particular part? Anybody? 25 ohms is in parallel with the short circuit. Anybody? What is the equivalent of
Zero.
this? Zero. Good. It is zero because it is 25 into zero divided by 20 plus 25 plus zero. So parallel combination of zero resistance and 25 ohm resistance. So this has to be zero. That means what is the conclusion? What is that we have learned? If there is a resistor in parallel with short circuit, if there is a resistor in parallel with short circuit, then that particular resistor is redundant. There is no meaning to this. If it is there, it is there. It is of no use. I keep telling Atakuntu Lekkakilla. Okay, it is that sort of a resistor. It is there, but of no value to us. Make no difference to the results that we are going to get. Fine. So that's why we say this. Since 24 ohm is parallel with the short, 25 ohm is redundant. So this is redundant resistor. What can we do with redundant resistors or anything which are redundant? We can ignore them so that the approach would become much easier. So we have ignored that. Therefore, the circuit reduces to this. We have removed this. Understand that? And what is our interest? Our interest is to find out ISC. Can anybody just by observing give me what is ISC? Just by observation, can you give me what is ISC here? ISC is on the right hand side part, mind you. ISC is on right hand side part. Okay, so ISC is flowing in clockwise direction, whereas 10I is flowing opposite to that. Okay,
Minus 10.
yeah, it's minus 10I. Okay, so it's minus 10I. Let's, so it's, since it's minus 10I, I need to find out I. So how to find out I? By applying KVL to this particular mesh. And there is a short circuit. Everybody understand why is this a short circuit? I didn't talk about that. VAB is 0, mind you. VAB is 0, and this 25 ohms is also 0. It's not 0, rather it's redundant. This is redundant, and this VAB is 0. So what we need to do, if this VAB is 0, what is voltage being 0? What is voltage being 0? It is a short circuit or open circuit. Voltage being 0 is short circuiting. Current being 0 is open circuit. If current is 0, we have to open circuit that current source. If voltage source is 0, we have to short circuit that. That means since VAB is 0, so this is short circuit, and since 25 ohms is redundant, we remove this. So VAB is 0, it is short circuit, 25 ohms is removed. Find out I by applying KVL here. So I is 0.01 amps. Once we have found out I, on the right hand side part, what's happening on the right hand side part? ISC is happening to be minus 10 I. So substitute I to get our ISC, which is happening to be minus 0.1 amperes. I had told you that we are going to get minus. We have to get minus, otherwise we have done mistake somewhere. Okay, so ISC we got to be negative, and when we need to be happy about that, because if ISC is negative, VOC is also negative, then only I can get my RT equal to a positive entity, and that is what is this. VOC is minus 5, ISC is minus 0.1, so together it is 50 ohms. RT is 50 ohms. What was asked? To find out the Thevenin's equivalent. So therefore, the Thevenin's equivalent network is what? Is this. VOC is minus 5 volts. ISC is 50 ohms. Understand that? Write this as minus 5 volts only. Some people do this. They interchange these polarities and write that as 5. No, let's not do that. Let's keep the polarities as it is and write this as minus 5. Get that point? So this is how we find out the Thevenin's equivalent network across terminals AB for the given problem. Is that understood? Let's take another problem. So this is problem number 5 to you, everybody. This is problem number 5 for you. Okay. Now, let's go through this problem. What's happening in this problem? They have asked us to again find out the Thevenin's equivalent network across terminals. With the terminals A, B are here for a change. Okay, and this may create problems to you at some juncture. Let's see where it could be challenging. Yeah, it will pose some challenge. We shall see there are multiple ways in which this problem can be solved. Okay, you have to approach this problem by different cases or different methods rather. Okay, so we shall see what method we are following here. Get that point? Now, since we are asked to find out the Thevenin's equivalent network, what we are doing across terminals AB, we are marking voltage VOC. Okay, so when we are marking VOC, the terminal A is there, right? There we shall have our positive sign. Okay, so there we have our positive sign. Understand that? So we have to find out VOC. How to find out VOC now is the question. Okay, there are, so it's a two mesh problem. So this is one mesh, this is one. You can mark two mesh currents. So this is one mesh. See, this is one mesh. You see the pointer here. This is one mesh, though there are terminals. So this is another mesh. So we can deal with mesh currents, or even we can deal with branch currents I1 and I2. Can we apply mesh analysis with branch currents? No, it's not mesh analysis. It's just KVL. Sorry, yeah, it's just KVL. We're not applying mesh analysis. Mesh analysis is applied when we mark the mesh currents. So we are not marking mesh currents. These are branch currents, mind you. So the same problem we can do by marking the mesh currents, and see, you should get the same answer. Fine. How is this being solved? So we have marked I1 and I2, which are branch currents, not the mesh currents. Here, branch currents I1 and I2. So this is one closed path wherein we can find out I. So see, where would this I1 be going? This I1, after coming at this particular point, what would happen to this? What would happen to this? Whether this I1 enters this terminal A? No, because it's open circuit. The whole of this I1 would flow here and it would go back. So this is how the things are. Everybody understand that? Now, applying KVL along the path. So this is the path I have shown. Blue path I have marked, right? So that is the path along which I am applying KVL. But it's not mesh analysis. Okay, you cannot write 900 into I1 minus I2. No, you cannot write 900 into I1 minus I2. It is 900 I1, that's it. Okay, so it's minus 120 plus 900 I1 plus 600 I1 equal to 0. So we can easily find out I1 because it is just one equation, one unknown. Understand? So that one unknown is 0.08 amps. Okay, where I can apply KVL, I can apply KVL to any closed path, but that closed path has to be having the current that we want to find. See, this is another closed path now. Everyone understand this is another closed path. But what is the disadvantage with this? Both I1 and I2 would come in that equation. Both I1 and I2 would come in that equation. No problem. Let both I1 and I2 come in that equation. We know I1, substitute that I1 to find out I2. But there is another smart way of dealing with it. There is another path. There is another path wherein I'll have only I2 involved. I1 is not involved. Which is that path? Which is the path along which I can apply KVL, and that equation should not be involving current I1. Which is that path here? In this path there is I1 is flowing. In this path also there is I1 flowing. Okay, but there is another path where I1 is not flowing. See here, outermost path is there. So this outermost path I1 is not flowing. So you can take that path. Apply KVL. So we have taken that outermost path. Apply KVL along the path shown. It's minus 20 plus 1024 into I2 plus 800 I2 is equal to 0. Fine. So I2 is found out. Once I2 is found out, how to find I1 we have found out, I2 we have found out. What is VOC? So VOC is there in two paths now. See, this is one path in which VOC is there. I1 and I2 is also there. We know I1 and I2, we can find out VOC here. There is another path. See here. That is what is being told. To find VOC, this is one path we have. Understand? So this is one path. This path is also fine. There is another path. See this path. Everybody understand? So we can deal with any one path to find out VOC. You can take the path of your wish. See, I1 is flowing here means through 600 ohms also I1 is flowing. I1 is flowing through this 1204 ohms means that same I2 is flowing through 800 ohms also. So catch hold of any. To find V0, select red or blue path. You can select a red path or blue path, your wish. So let's go with that blue path. And how does it go? We have to always move in clockwise direction. So when I'm moving in clockwise direction, I'm finding minus VOC. So I'm moving upwards, I1 is moving downwards, so it is minus 900 I1. I'm moving downwards, I2 is also moving downwards, so it is 1204 into plus 1204 into. That is what is written. So what would be our VOC? Substituting I1 and I2, our VOC is this 0.095 volts. Is this understood now? Fine. So we have found out VOC. We have to find out RT. How to find out RT now? How to find out RT? RT has to be found out by deactivating the source. There is only independent source, so we can deactivate. If there is a dependent source, I cannot deactivate. I have to find out ISC also, which is headache. Okay, so let's find out. Let's find out RT by deactivating the source. Understand that? So this is RT. This is where RT is. So we have turned off. Deactivating or turning off means same. Some people call it as turning off. Some people call it as deactivating. So turning off a voltage source means what? Short circuiting the voltage source. So we have short circuited that, and we have to find out RT now. Okay. Now can you make out the resistors which are there in parallel? This is challenging. This is what is the challenge I told you. How to find out RT? See here, everybody, just understand. I'll take two terminals AB. Okay. Now this is short circuit point. Let's say this is short circuit point. Fine. So this is short circuit point means 900 ohms is also coming here. 600 ohms is also coming here. And those two are again joined here. That means 900 ohms and 600 ohms are in parallel. Similarly, 1204 ohm and 800 ohms are in parallel. So how I have written that? See, the same circuit can be written like this. You can call it as terminal, short circuit terminal. This is short circuit terminal. To short circuit terminal, what is happening? From A, you have 900 ohms coming. From the same A, you have 600 ohms coming. See, from A, you have 900 ohms coming to the short circuit point, 600 ohms coming from the short circuit point. From B, 1204 is coming to the short circuit point, 800 ohms is coming to this short circuit point. See, from B. So what is RT now? What is RT? RT is this and this parallel, and that in series with this parallel combination. See here. So that is 840.638. Everybody understand that? Now, therefore, what we have found out? We have found out, so this parallel combination, one parallel combination in series with another parallel combination. So what we have found out is the Thevenin's equivalent network, which is this. Is that understood, everybody? Okay.